let's talk about this. Seriously, remember when Redis was ours? You know? Simple, fast, powerful, something we all used, we all built on? Remember that?
Yeah, about that. Let's get into what happens when the money shows up and the whole story just goes completely off the rails. Because, it didn't start out this way. This is a classic tech tragedy. And, like all the best tragedies, it started with a beautiful idea, the purest intentions. I mean, it was literally a passion project. Just one developer, Salvatore Sanfilippo, we all knew him as Antares, building this absolutely elegant in-memory key-value store. It was a work of art.
And the pitch? It was just impossible to resist. It was wicked fast. It was elegant. It quickly became the backbone of like half the internet. Caching, queues, leaderboards. If you wanted your app to be fast, Redis was the answer. And the best part, it was proudly, truly open source. And then, well, you know how this goes. The money arrived, the big cloud companies noticed the free buffet they were getting, and suddenly everything started to get complicated.
See, this is how we remember it. Clean, simple, one project, one community. It did its job, and it did it perfectly.
And then this happened. The big three, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, they all started selling Redis as a service. They just took this amazing open source work, wrapped it up, and built massive businesses on top of it.
And how much was Redis Labs, the actual company maintaining the project, getting from these giants? Yep, that's the number. A big fat zero. Nothing. You can see where this is headed, can't you?
Right. So if you're a company whose biggest users are paying you exactly nothing, you've got a problem. And you don't fix it by making the product better. No. You fix it by changing the rules of the game.
And this is how they pulled the ladder up behind them. It wasn't all at once. It was a slow boil. We started with the BSD license, totally open. Then came the Commons Clause, which was kind of open, I guess. Then the Redis source available license, which, let's be honest, was not open source at all. And finally, boom, the final nail, fully closed, totally proprietary.
And the community's reaction was, well, what you'd expect. This wasn't just some business decision. This was a betrayal. It completely broke the promise of open source.
March 20th, 2024. Remember that date. That's the day they did it. The day Redis Labs made the final move and the core database, the thing we all depended on, was officially not ours anymore.
So what does a community do when its project gets hijacked? It doesn't write angry letters, it doesn't beg, it walks, and then it builds. And we're not talking about a few angry developers on a forum. The Linux Foundation stepped in. When the Linux Foundation shows up, you know it's serious. They gave the community a place to go, a home to build the future.
And out of that rebellion, Valkey was born. Now let's be super clear here. This is a fork. It's the same code, it's the same API, it's the same performance. The only thing that's different is the future, an open one.
And you better believe the industry noticed. The Linux Foundation, AWS, Google, Oracle, all the big players who were getting shut out by Redis Inc. immediately jumped on board. This wasn't just a protest, it was a full-blown industry-wide move.
And hey, if this whole story sounds familiar, it's because it is. We've seen this exact movie before. MySQL got captured, we got MariaDB. OpenOffice, we got LibreOffice. Elasticsearch, we got OpenSearch. And now, Redis becomes Valkey. A fork isn't a failure, it's the immune system of open source kicking in.
Okay, so the dust is settling, the battle lines are drawn. What does this actually mean for you, for me, for the developer who just wants to get their work done?
This is the choice now. It's that simple. On one side, you've got Redis, owned by a corporation, locked down with a proprietary license, and built for its enterprise customers. And on the other, you've got Valkey, owned by a foundation, truly open source, and built for the community. Two paths, same starting point.
And that's the real takeaway here. This whole fight was never really about the database. I mean, the code is almost identical. This was, and still is, about control. Who owns the tools that we use to build everything? Who gets to decide the rules?
So no, Redis didn't die, it got captured. And the community did what it always does. It routed around the problem and built something new. But that's not the end of the story. It happened to Redis. It's gonna happen again. So the only question you should really be asking yourself is, which tool in your stack is next?